listen to this episode if you want to better know how to plan your content so content can be your easiest and simplest thing throughout the week. This episode is a Friday coaching sessions episode, which is a question submitted by Haley. Haley's question is, content is the longest, hardest part of my week. How do you make it take less time? When she gave me a little bit more context, she said, Maddie, I know you talk about on Sunday nights how you plan your content out. Can you explain what you actually do? Hello, welcome to the Small Business Growth Podcast. I'm your host, Madison Page, and I am a business growth specialist. I help small businesses stand out and sell out on social media by building a ride or die community around your brand. But I specialize in this thing that I like to call the freepreneur lifestyle. This really is building a lifestyle that has balance, that has a better approach so you can have a fulfilling life and a fulfilling business all at once, and a very balanced life can coexist with a successful business. And this is one of my non-negotiables throughout the week, and I wanted to explain it to you as well. Haley, thank you for submitting this question. It is a great question, and I totally understand what you're saying. Content can feel incredibly daunting if you don't have it planned out. If you just like sit down in the day and you're like, all right, it's Tuesday. What do I have to want to say today? I have no idea what it looks like out there. Like, what the heck am I doing? It's easy to kind of just get lost in the bubble. Okay, do I want to make a reel? Do I want to make a carousel? What do I want to talk about? And you can kind of just like bounce all of these ideas around in your head. This normally points to the idea of not having a solid strategy that works for you. When you are sitting down and you're like, okay, I have no idea what to post, content being the longest and the hardest part of your week, a lot of times comes down to the idea of not really knowing what you're trying to build or how to get there. What I mean by that is content can be really easy and really flowy. It doesn't have to take a lot of time for you. It really can be something that's really simple. You just need to know what it is that you're growing. And so I ask myself 3 questions every single week. And the question is, what is my focus for the week? Am I growing? Am I nurturing? Am I selling? What is like my major season of business that I'm in right now? What am I selling right now? Am I selling anything? What am I promoting? Where am I trying to get somebody in that next step? And what do I want my audience to know, feel, and think throughout this week? Is there a major focus that I'm speaking about? Now, these 3 things take a lot of awareness of your strategy, of what you're selling next, of planning, but you need to constantly be looking ahead. Half of running a business is really the planning of it and just forward thinking. And that doesn't mean you need to have 12 months written out. That doesn't mean you need to have 6 months. You don't even need to have 3 months planned. But if you have the next 4 weeks of your business planned, even 2 weeks of knowing what the next thing is that you're selling, when is your next hard call to action, and how to build kind of backwards in order to actually get there, it's super, super important. So when we're talking about content planning, it really comes down to understanding a strategy and understanding how people buy in social media, why that cycle can be a really easy, natural sales cycle. And so as a disclaimer, it takes an understanding of what you're doing. But what you really want to do is, for me, what I do is on Sunday nights, it's a non-negotiable, and sometimes it's 6 to 7, sometimes it's 7 to 8, sometimes it's 9 to 10, who knows, but it is a non-negotiable on my Sunday nights that I take, and it's at least 30 minutes to do it. I sit down, I look forward to my week. What meetings do I have? What calls do I have? What is my priority? And I use Notion to plan everything. If you want a code for Notion, I have some sort of code. I have honestly no idea what it even gives you. I love Notion. Notion is my platform that I use for absolutely everything to organize. It's a project management software. It's completely customizable to your brand. It can look gorgeous. It can be so incredibly fun. If you want a code to it, I'll put the link down below, or whatever it is, I'll put it down below. I use Notion. It's where I schedule out all of my content. And on Sunday nights, I sit down, I look at my Notion, and I have these 3 questions written down. What is your focus for the week? What am I selling this week? Am I selling anything, or where am I promoting? What do I want my audience to know, feel, or think by the end of the week? And this really allows me to say, okay, am I selling anything? Am I promoting anything? What is my overall objective? My overall objective at the end of the day is to nurture my audience and build community and just to make connection. So that probably means that I'm selling or I'm promoting people to go to my podcast, and I'm just connecting with people. So this is what my major focus is. What do I want people in my audience to think, know, and feel? Maybe I'll talk about this topic. Maybe I'll talk about that topic. From a product-based standpoint, this can be similar. similar. You can say, okay, my focus for the week is growth. I want to get out to new people. So what am I selling this week? Maybe I'm not selling anything, but I really want to talk about my X, Y, and Z product this week. I want a real focus on it. It's this time of year, and I think it would really be a great time of year to start talking about it for the beginning of the summer, blah, blah, blah. What do I want my audience to know, feel, and think by the end of it? I want them to know what this product is all about. I want them to feel like it is the best dang X, Y, and Z out there, and I want them to really understand what the benefits are by the end of the week. So now you have the answers to these questions, and then you can say, okay, perfect. What topics do I want to cover in order for people to think, know, and feel those things about that product? And now I can look at my week with a strategic standpoint of saying, okay, what is my focus and what types of content can I create? So I know, because I teach 7 types of content, I look at my 7 types of content and I say, okay, that's great. I'm growing, which means I need to look at these 3 types of content, and I'll pick 1, 2, and 3. If I want to post 3 times that week, and I say, okay, here's a growth of the type 1, growth of type 2, growth of type 3, and I have my overall topics. These are the different topics that I want to talk about in order for my audience to think, know, and feel these certain things. And so what you kind of do is you reverse engineer it. You focus on what your overall objective is by Friday, and then you reverse engineer it. What do I want them to think, know, and feel on Friday from following me this week? What am I doing? And then you actually create the content behind it. And all a lot of times I do is just map out the topics. The topics this can truly take me 12 minutes if I really want it to. It can take me 7 minutes if I'm really on it. And then if I have more time, I'll poke around, I'll check my email, I'll do like a brain dump. If you listen to any of my time management episodes, you know I do like a Sunday evening brain dump of everything I want to do this week. And I'll start kind of accomplishing just like some of the really small tasks. It's like respond to this email, follow up with this person, things that take less than like 10 to 15 minutes, I'll do right then and there. So I'm already getting things done throughout my week. If I don't want to do that, I can, or if I want to, I guess I can do all of it sometimes. I will actually create this content. If it's a carousel, I'll just go and create it. If it's a reel, I'll go and create it just so it's completely done throughout the week, and I can plan that out. And then I can look, okay, am I writing any emails, and what am I having anything on my Instagram stories? What is that overall focus, and go from there. So to plan your content out, you first need to know what your objective is. You kind of need to know your end game, and then you work backwards. Okay, what do I want people to think, know, and feel? What season of my business am I in? And then what topics am I talking about? And then you can go and create it. When we're talking topics, you can choose, you know, do I want to do a B-roll? Do I want to do a photo? Do I want to do a carousel? Do I want to do a face-to-cam video? And then you can kind of look at it. Again, this takes understanding strategy of social media. If you're not really understanding what that really means, how to schedule your content, how to create a content calendar, how to really understand what season of business you're in, my Breakthrough Content Lab course would be the best spot for you. That's where we teach you all of these different things, how to plan things out and all of that. You can click the link in the show notes. There's a completely free training that really talks about standing out on social media and why social media is so important and all of that. We talk about BCL and all of this kind of within that training as well. But when we talk about really planning out your content, it takes an understanding of the strategy, but it also takes like just a forward focus. Let's look forward. What is your forward focus? And then how can we reverse engineer it to make it make more sense for your audience this week? Having things really structured allows you to sit down at the beginning of your day and not be like, all right, and like twiddle your thumbs trying to come up with an idea. You at least already have a topic planned out. This is a non-negotiable of at least scheduling out my topics every single week. Even if it takes me 7 minutes and that's all that I do, and I don't actually make the content and I don't actually do the brain dump. I try to do it, and sometimes I'll do it on Monday mornings instead. Sunday nights, I don't like going into my week without knowing what my priority is for the week. What am I promoting? What am I doing? And what content am I actually talking about? I also like this because a lot of times I have my podcasts pre-scheduled, and so then I can look and see, okay, what podcasts are going out that week? How can I get people to really seamlessly move through these funnels? And how can I really get that momentum going from there as well? Haley, I hope this was really helpful for you. I hope that this answered your question. At the end of the day, you need to look forward and work yourself backwards. And a lot of times it's just understanding what season of business you're in. I use my 7 types of content. And so then I can look at my 7 types and say, okay, 3 of them are within the growth season. Let me just post 1 of each this week and go out there and do that dang thing. And it's really just looking at your topics and scheduling it out from there. If you want me to answer your question next week, click the link in the show notes and I might answer your question. If you have a specific question you have been dying to ask me, if we were sitting across from each other, sipping coffee, what would you ask me? That you can put in there and maybe I would answer it next week. I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope this was helpful for you, and I hope it was helpful for Haley. Come hang out with me on Instagram at This Is Madison Paige. Make sure you are subscribed to this episode. Share this episode with one of your biz besties so you guys can chat about it and what this really means the next time you are on the phone or you are out for coffee and chatting. Share it, and you guys can have that conversation there. I hope you have a wonderful day. I love you. I'm rooting for you, and I'm in your corner always.